Stations. Head for Gap.
Antepolopero. So,
Yeah. ik was net eerst heel net op veel.
Dobbiamo andare giù.
Nothing's easy because you've got a student density, you've got chains of fellas,
and gets a nice energy, makes me feel more important than I actually am, so thanks for that. And if you want to find me online, just type in Andrew Duncan Music on social media and you can find out what I'm getting up to in the musical world. And I've also got some CDs as well. This next one is going to start with a note. Guitar and the drums, once I'm back in harmony.
With a white brick building. Okay, great. Cool. Thank you.
C'est pas dans ce sens. Ay, Lalo. Papaya.
song. I belong with you, you belong with me in my sleep. Oh, I belong. I don't think you're right for real. Love train is running down.
This time next year we're done. You're a monkey, man.